really start going. Okay, there we go. We're set to begin. So if you're new here, I know one of our shorts on YouTube recently took off a little bit more than the regular stuff has, and of course that's going to contribute to this kind of stuff. So I'm going to recap most of our adventures so far, just to, if anyone's joining us immediately, just give them a little taste of what has happened. We are currently playing here with my buddy Teo, who is playing Elred, the Shaper, a conjurer, who is a Grey Elf who lived for many years with the dwarves, learning their culture, taking in the local flavor with them over in this Independence Pass area on the map. We started session 1 with him sailing into Wakeport, where he fought with the Rat King. I'm not going to do major spoilers here, just a brief overview of the events. He ended up winning that fight and basically became the local magi or court wizard to the Count. But his interactions with the Count were few. He ended up working far more for Stuart the Steward. He had some interactions with the elves in the forest, trying to make peace with them and Wakeport. That didn't go exactly as planned, but he continued to adventure and went below and found ancient secrets below the keep in Wakeport, where he released a serpent with a man's face. He then traveled to South Van and dealt with a necromancer problem that was unknown to the people there, but they knew people were disappearing and getting killed. He then finally is on a quest to defeat a bear, and in order to do so, he has wagered him that he can mount and ride a hippogriff into the bear's lair. This bear is a fey creature and can speak, but he is currently on a quest to go get that hippogriff egg, and he's headed to Mon Thoris with a thief named Stoneteller to heist one of the hippogriff eggs to sway the creatures to his side, I believe. And then we pick up with Elred, if I'm not mistaken at this point. I just
All right.
noticed him in the wrong.
Yeah, that's basically it. I guess I'm just waiting for Stoneteller to finish up their prep.
Yeah. She'll just walk over to her small halfling-sized house, grab a backpack, and go, "We gonna do this thing?"
Well, before she leaves, can I just ask her how long it's gonna take her?
Take me to what?
Take her to, prepare for this?
You want a plan, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm not coming up with a plan. I don't know anything about peeps.
Fester Browns. That's who we're looking to rob.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily for us, he's not a quiet man. Makes a lot of waves. Makes a lot of noise. And I think we could take advantage of that. Now, I can't. I don't have the station to deal with Fester Browns. But, here's the thing. You're a court wizard, magi. Even if that will get you into some doors easily, it'll get you into Fester Browns even quicker. Fester is a man of taste. He likes to taste flavor from all around the world and bring it to his estate, just outside of Mon Thoris. I figure a Grey Elf wizard catches his eye real nicely. And he's got parties every week, sometimes every night. Got many other flavors in attendance. Clerics, wizards, rogues, and ne'er-do-wells who are famous. And of course, nobles all swather around his fanciness. And so here's what I got. I know where he gambles. If you go start associating with him at that establishment, I figure you can get invited to one of these parties if he sees one of your magic tricks. And then you can find a loose door, or when I was at his estate, only but once, with the Copperheads, the local gang, I did see that there were these fireplaces. Now, I saw a couple chimneys, but I only saw 2 of the fireplaces, the one in the kitchen and the one in the great hall, or the main room. It's really a ballroom more than anything else for his parties. And I figure, if you can go take off, because usually they have these grates preventing anything from getting further down the fireplace if it's not in use. And of course, if it's in use, it'll be on fire. I figure if you can get in, move that front grate that blocks off access for anyone entering, I can shimmy down one of those chimneys and get right near his treasure room, which I believe is in the basement, but I could be mistaken. So if you can get down to that basement, I think we could get that stuff out of there. Pretty simple. Oh, BRB? Okay. Take a short respite here. Talk about Idmar for a second, I suppose. So if you guys are not familiar with Idmar, it is my homebrew world where we essentially have a series of my adventures taking place. We are currently in the kingdom of Southumberland. It is a feudal kingdom living under a council of princes. Every place with a Mon on it is ruled by a prince. So Mon Thoris is in fact ruled by a prince. So is Mon Mill, Mon Mark, and Mon Pike. The Barrowwood, or a princess, just an FYI. The Barrowwood, Mid-River, and Luketon is a county. It's Kryn County, named after the river. Then down here, Wakeport in Southvan, where Elred is from, is called Wake County. Where Clarice Wakewide controls Wakeport, and we've met the Baron of Southvan. And then over here is actually, Luketon might be in Fast County. I can't specifically remember off the top of my head. It's on my info docs, though. But Fast County is at least Finfast, which is another port town. That's the region of the world we are in. Shoop, shoop. Then other than that, we have the capital, which is technically also a county, but the prince rules over that. So, and then this up here, where everything past this line where Lake Division is the northern kingdom of Northumberland, at least on this side of the water. It's a cold and kind of inhospitable region towards the north. Although there are towns there, they are rugged and full of adventuring types. The traditional Viking tend to live in Porthos Point, Ocean View, with various Amazonian tribes in the cold wood and outside of it in the colder areas, who tend to like mammoths and yaks as mounts, depending on the level of heroicism or just herd animals. Also, Peak is interesting because it has what I call my blood elves or snow elves, depending on who you're talking to. They are a special race of elf who are kind of glamored or mirrored image most of the time due to some sort of foul magics in their capital of Peak. They travel around the cold wood attempting to enslave anyone nearby, but their numbers are very few, and the only thing keeping them safe really is those glamours, including the ones placed upon their city, which seems to elude it from most travelers. And yeah, this is a lot of stuff. We could go talk over the Indarian Plains. Elred, if you are back, or Teo, if you are back, let me know. I'm simply trying to fill time here. We also have the Indarian Plains. This is an independent confederacy. The only binding nature of the confederacy is it's a defensive pack versus North and Southumberland, and the everlasting Imperium of Man, which is an empire over this direction. Look up here, a little outside view. But this region is home to various barons, some declaring themselves counts or even kings, depending on how strong they really do believe they are versus public perception. A mixture of that combines what they call themselves in that region. On the Golden Steppe, there are plenty of horse lords who travel around in big, you can imagine like Khalasars from Game of Thrones, and essentially will raid and pillage where they can. They're definitely not as numerous as the Dothraki in Game of Thrones, but they are similar in ferocity. They don't do that braids thing, though. Don't have that cultural aspect. Then over here towards the center of our map is the Dakhart Desert. I don't want to reveal too much about this place because it's super hard to get to, but Dakrun's Heart is the main place in there. Sandcastle is a small town built as a trade outpost between the Indarian Plain and Southumberland. It's right in the middle, so it tends to get a lot of business. Speaking of business, a lot of the northern Indarian Plains, where it turns into a little more of a kind of light forest, is very wealthy as well. Here we get to the Plains of Silver and the Wexwart Hills. This place is more of a savanna region of the world. There are lions and all those creatures that you associate with savanna, hyenas, and great big elephants, although some elephants do also exist on the Golden Steppe. This region is pretty cool. It's got a lot going on. Then this is within the Imperium. The Imperium of Man is an empire with 3 kings, all united by religion. The main pantheon of our land here, the Essence Pantheon, is the ruling law of this land, with really the main legal source of power coming from Bless, but the actual population and richest kingdom being Shieldhelm and its surrounding territories here, with Shell and everything below it being probably the poorest of the region here. It ends up being a strange pact between the kings. They have warred from time to time, but generally the king in Bless is more of a neutral party in all affairs and binds peace between the two, and is much more connected to the local cathedral, where is kind of the epicenter of religion. And we can talk about religion here, I guess, since Elred is not back. Again, Teo, if you're here, let me know. But we have the pantheons. The pantheons here are essentially the Essence Pantheon, which is the main religion. There are, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10? What? Yeah, 10, sorry. Not 8, 10. Miscounted. I need to start rolling a different number of dice to determine clerics. I guess we added some at some point. But we have the essences. They are more of an intentionality. You can think Sithis from the Elder Scrolls is kind of how I envision them, having more of a feeling or a notion of kind of what is their nature, right? They are more of a kind of essence, as you could call it, and they don't have personalities, but they are viewed as like the pure, unrivaled deities of the land, who are the most holy. They end up having a large mass of human followers all over the continent. And then we can talk about the Exiled Pantheon as well, which is gods with intentionality. Not all of them are evil, although they certainly have a bent in that direction, where you see, like, Reynard, the god of trickery and deceit and the great betrayal, obviously pretty bad. But these guys exist either on their own in planes of existence, or depending on the lore, as you could read here, Creator of the Prime Material Plane exist on the Prime Material Plane. But most of them hold a region. What's wrong, buddy? Sorry, my cat. Cat cried out, and I have to see what's wrong with him. What do you want? Yes, but the exiled pantheon tends to be meddling in human affairs more than the essence pantheon does, where the essence pantheon is more of an intention and will empower those who follow that intention. So their clerics tend to be literally paragons of justice in every sense, paragons of light, paragons of darkness, of life, etc., which breeds a lot more zealotry in their clerics than the exiled pantheon, where you might trade your services to one of these guys for power. Petting my cat on the side as he sits on my notebook that I had for the session. Yeah, but you might trade your services to one of these guys for power. They're much more transactional. Included in this is the Snow Elf God of Bloodletting. He might belong in the third way. I haven't decided yet. I continuously edit and add deities depending on what my mind or the campaign might call for. So this is not a permanent list, although I haven't changed the Essence Pantheon since I created it. I don't think I will. I changed their names, but I never changed anything else about them. Frimberg is Sonar, depending on the level of campaign you're watching. What is this? Well, that's not what it's based off of, but apparently Grammarly thinks I am quoting something specific. Then we have Shinabog, Dagalax, and Vermeer. Oh, we got a message. What's going on here? Oh, welcome back. Okay.
All right. Sorry, I really apologize about that.
That's no big deal.
Family emergency.
It's no big deal. If everything's all right, we can get back in the game. I just I filled time by going over the world and talking about history and lore and stuff like that. So
That's cool.
it's no big deal. Yeah. So that'll be somewhere in this video. Might separate it later, depending if I finish it ever. Finish the video, that is. I have the lore in front of me, but I believe we were discussing plans. Do you remember where we left off on that?
So it was the chimney.
Yes.
If we were able to somehow, I believe, get Stone Teller through the chimney.
Yes, that was Stone Teller's plan. That if you opened a grate, like, because, you know, fireplaces sometimes have those metal bars, or they'll have like a glass panel in our day and age that separate the fire and the wood inside from the outside.
Yeah.
Stone Teller was saying if you were to remove that from perhaps the basement fireplace, then she might be able to slide down the chimney and steal the things and climb back out, depending on how much there is.
What do people usually use basements for in this day and age?
Storage, root cellars for food. Sometimes you'll have a little sitting room down there. Hello, Nell. Welcome. Welcome to the chat. Nice to see you this morning. But you'll generally have that kind of stuff placed out in the cellar. Sometimes you'll have treasure rooms, depending on how rich you are. Thieves will put down, like, thieves' guilds where they'll gamble and do nefarious things. Sometimes it's just a wine cellar where you'll go and drink or show off your wine collection. You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was just kind of wondering if there would be a reason for me to be in the basement if I got caught, but it doesn't look like it. Unless it's a wine cellar.
Yeah, it really depends what's down there. There's potential where it's like, oh, show me your X collection, and you could perhaps sneak your way down there with someone. But that would obviously be more difficult to maneuver with opening the fireplace grate and whatnot. But I leave that up to you. So what do you do?
I agree. I tell him that, yeah, it sounds like a good plan. When's the next, where is this gambling place I can meet Fester Browns?
Yes, where he tends to gamble. I am not allowed in this tavern, but people speak. It is called the Water Ledge. It sits on the Blessed Blue in Monthoris, town proper. It is very high class. It usually costs a gold to enter, so it has a door fee. And then you gamble away or drink wine, chatter with the local nobility. They're not as wild as they are out in Monmill or here, in Monmill or in Wakeport where you're from. They have more civilization, more nobility in town.
Interesting.
Yes.
I'm trying to see if I have any spells that can help, but I do not.
You're like, oh, I wish I learned invisibility instead of Cat's Grace. Oh, God.
It could help. Are there any tools I might need, Stoneteller or Teller?
I'm not sure what tools you'd require. Generally, these fireplace grates are removable if we're going with that plan. If you have a better alternative, I'm open to it. I could describe the mansion to you if you'd like.
Yeah, please do.
Yes, so as you enter, it's a great hallway that leads into a large ballroom. When I entered, it looked to be that he had not taken down any of the buffet tables that line the room. Besides that, at the end of that great hall, opposite of the entrance, is a large glass room. A sunroom is what he calls it. Very fancy, very expensive. If those windows were to break, it would cost him thousands upon thousands of gold. He loves the sunroom. At night and during the day, he ponders out there, reads books, entertains guests, and whatnot. But that is not our objective. To the left and to the right, there are 2 rooms. I know each set of rooms contains at least 1 set of stairs, but I do not know which of the 4 rooms contains the upstairs staircase or the downstairs one. But I am aware that he has a basement and an upper floor where his quarters are and where his guests generally stay if they are friendly to him in the romantic way or perhaps otherwise in a more guest sort of manner, I suppose you could say. A true friend or interesting party he may invite to sleep up there. I believe there is also a library on the upper floor, but I could be mistaken. That is simply what I've heard. The rest is fact to me, though. Stoneteller, the female halfling, kind of scruffles at her hood.
Okay. I'm getting a picture that it's like just comes down to how well I woo him, I guess.
Stoneteller sighs. Yes. Keep in mind, he is a fan of the... She raises an eyebrow. Extravagant. He likes flavors. He likes to taste... He's described it to me as I gave him the egg myself. He likes to taste the flavors of life. Take off a pear from every tree and an apple from every bush. Or something like that. Apple from every tree, pear from every bush? No. Strawberry? Something of that nature.
I see.
Mikey's just looking confused. He looks real out of place on this assignment. He's not sneaky. You know him to be actually pretty clumsy. In his work. He's strong, though. Pretty strong guy.
Okay. All right. I'm going to prepare. I tell Stone Teller, like, for our first meeting. I feel like I need to make a good impression.
It would be wise, Elred.
By the way, Stone Teller, do you know Taylor?
There are tailors in town.
All right.
You mean an actual tailor? This isn't code for...
No, this is an actual tailor, because this is the clothes I'm wearing. These are the things I use to fight people, and they've been through shit, literally.
Monthoris would have better human tailors.
I'm not a human.
You are human-sized. Dwarves occupy most of Mon Mill, so dwarven tailors are really what you have here. There is a human tailor, but they are...
All right. Let's... Yeah, I'll look for a human tailor here, so I can just go straight to the town.
Okay. You find one. It's a older woman with long gray hair.
I just asked her if she does anything fancy.
Yes, I have a wonderful surcoat, if you'd like it.
Oh, that's cool.
It looks to be a blue surcoat. She has these white frilled pants that kind of end at the ankle with a big tuft of fabric. They're kind of rolled there. And they also... the surcoat ends up having a big blue flower on this blue surcoat. It does appear very flamboyant and fancy. I'm not sure how Elred usually dresses. I imagine pretty reserved in maybe a wizard's robe or something.
Yeah, pretty much.
But this is kind of out of your usual style.
Well, I am in the court. I guess I've been there, right? Did I see any particular way the nobles were dressing? Do they have some sort of fashion?
Yeah, they tend to the women tend to wear light summer dresses in this region of the world, and the men tend to wear thin, kind of fluffed shirts with these kind of curved collars that kind of sink down their neckline. And generally they'll wear whites. Sometimes if you're feeling a little bit dangerous, you'll wear a black one to look a little more daring. They stay away from browns, though. And depending on the person, you'll see some people wear bright colors, but it's not as common. The bright colors you think, just from inference of what you've seen at the court in Wakeport in passing, because you have spent time there, you tend to see not lesser nobles do it, but nobles who tend to not follow the general humble convention. A lot of the religious practices of the Essence Pantheon tend to advocate for not being super flamboyant with your wealth. So it's generally the people who are that wear those bright colors. I guess is how I'd put it.
Oh, I see. I'll go something normalish. I'll ask her to do if she has something in that style.
She does have one of those black or white shirts with just the same pants. Those pants would still be acceptable. She looks a little disappointed you don't like her blue tuffled shirt. This would be... Oh, I don't know. Let's say... a gold piece for this little number.
It's pretty expensive for cloth.
Well, it is a fancy surcoat. There is also a silk jacket I could sell you for 80 gold.
I'll take the surcoat.
You take the surcoat. She'll happily give it to you, looking at you up and down, kind of tailoring it a bit. Not much. She just needs to make some slight adjustments, and she will hand it over to you to wear. It's a nice party suit for a noble person, specifically now sized for an elf. Okay.
All right, awesome. So I'm gonna keep this in. I'm gonna keep this in my stuff, and I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna see if I remember. Is there anything like servants wore in particular?
Yes. Servants tend to wear plain brown shirts, usually made out of a canvasy material, and they'll just wear burlap pants with little slippers or boots, depending on if they're a groom and they tend to the horses, they'll wear boots, or if they're a gardener, they will have boots, but the outfit usually remains the same. Just kind of a burlap pants and a brown shirt. Not fancy, just...
What about something more like, is there like a dignified version of that, like a sort of like retainer?
You could buy essentially what is a butler's outfit for anyone, if you want to represent a symbol of status among some sort of waitstaff.
All right, cool. I'll buy a butler's outfit for Mikey.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were buying that for Mikey. Oh,
yeah,
God.
I mean,
okay. Yeah, that'll cost only 5 silver. Yeah, they'll sell that to you. Mikey looks to you. You want me to wear that, mister?
Yeah, I do actually.
You know I don't sound like one of them folk. I'm not spoken proper.
Oh yeah, I already have a story for that. I'll figure something out.
So be it. Do I put this on now, or are we...
Let's head over there first, and then you can put it on.
The woman, the old tailor, will tailor the suit just a little bit better for him, and he has a butler's outfit now in his bag. Stone Teller waits patiently. You do have to travel to Monthoris, which will take approximately a day without horses. But I'm not sure how pressed you are right now.
I'm pretty pressed.
You are on day... I think this is day 2 or 3.
I think it's 3.
Yes, I think we hit 3 today, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I only have about a little over a week now, right? So
Yes, you have a week.
I am definitely on time. I'm gonna use, after we're done shopping,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna go make our introductions to the noblemen, and I'm gonna summon 2 horses.
Okay, you will summon 2 horses, using your 2 of your conjuration spells.
Mm-hmm.
And you're summoning like a pony for The halfling, right? You're not summoning a full-size horse.
Oh, is he coming with us too?
To the party?
Yeah.
Stoneteller will say, we have to get to Monthoris, do we not? Or...
Oh, okay. So I thought... Interesting. So I thought we were going to meet him first and then go to the party.
Well, I figured we'd travel to Monthoris together.
Okay.
Stoneteller will say.
I guess...
Could split up after, but...
Alright, cool. Yeah, then I guess me and... I'm probably lighter than Mikey. So me and Stone Teller here will ride together. Mikey can have his own horse.
You and Stoneteller will ride on the horse together. The female halfling will ride at your back, holding on to you. How do you feel about Stoneteller?
I don't feel anything in particular, to be honest, right?
Okay. No sparks flying between the two of you?
No, she hasn't done anything that, like, that would make me feel a particular way other than the fact that she's a thief, but, like, it's like, whatever. Like, I just need her for a job.
She is simply an ally in this endeavor so far.
Yeah, she's like, Byron. I didn't have any strong feelings about Byron either, right?
Is his name Byron or Boris? I think I've called him both.
No, Byron the half-elf.
Oh, Byron from Southvan.
Yeah.
How do you feel about a Boris, just out of curiosity? The man who's trying to steal your thunder.
I don't care.
No?
He's like...
Not a proud man, I see.
It's just like, it's not even about a pride thing. It's just like, he's so insignificant in the grand scheme. Like, it's just like, I really don't care.
Do you think the town believes Boris is insignificant?
No, I don't. But I like, also in the grand scheme of things, like, most of the townsfolk are kind of insignificant as well, right?
Ah. So you're a good person, but you might be a benevolent. This is very elf-like, I will say.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yes.
That's what I was kind of going for, where, like, I'm, like, older than these people, like, in general. Like, I'm better than them, like, in every way, right? Like, I cast magic and stuff. Like, I don't feel any,
You might treat them like Omni-Man treats the human beings, their pets.
Exactly. They're like children to me, right?
Okay. I see. Just trying to get some insight into the character when we can. I always like these little asides with character development stuff. But we can move on to Monthoris. Let me just see if you run into anyone on the road. There's a less likely chance because you're actually on the first road of this campaign. I don't know if you can see that on the map.
Yeah, I didn't do.
There is finally a road that we are on, so it is a little bit smooth travel as you do not come across any encounters. And as you travel along this road, it is much more civilized. You see the occasional inn, you see more hamlets kind of bustled against the road. This is not a quiet place. You're reaching kind of like the inner part of this kingdom. Just to get a kind of scene there. And by the evening, you will reach Monthoris. It looks to be a pretty large town with probably about 600 or so buildings in the proper city or town, large town. They do not have walls. Most of the buildings do appear man-sized, although you see the occasional halfling hobble, or maybe gnome or dwarf. You would know if it's dwarf. It's probably not dwarf. You don't see many dwarves here, but you do see the occasional small house. But those usually lie on the outskirts. And as you approach, Stoneteller, the female halfling, will look to you and go, "You can meet me at the Inland Paradise. I'm gonna go there."
Okay.
She will split off. Don't forget, the water's edge is where you want to go. He'll probably be gambling there this evening.
Is it evening right now?
Yes, it is evening.
All right, let's go.
Okay. You head into town. The place is a little more developed. The only other place you've seen large buildings like this is in Wakeport, although you do see some actual stone buildings here among the wooden ones. That is unlike Wakeport. Wakeport only really had wooden buildings besides the keep. You don't see the keep in town. You assume it's probably outside, but you make your way to this river's edge, and eventually you see one of these stone buildings is a tavern, and it sits on the river. It's this kind of two-story stone building acting as both an inn and tavern for the nobility. At the door, there is a large, burly man. He's also in one of those tuxedos that you bought, Mikey. He's got big, solid arms, bald, shaved head. He looks like the typical bouncer at a club that you might envision. And he is guarding this two-story building set upon the river. From the outside, just as a note, you can also see there is a, not a dock, there's an overhang where you see people outside drinking wine and talking. You can hear a lot of chatter from this overhang on the river. That is made out of wood, though, and sits on large stilts where people are drinking and kind of partying, looking over the water as the moon kind of illuminates the place around them. What do you do? Mikey's next to you, looks to you. Some different music.
There are animals around, right?
There is the occasional horse or mule that is pulling carts around. Although as evening comes to a close, most of what you're going to see here are the horses kind of sat against this inn. They tend to be these nice mares or stallions that are definitely some of the nobility's horses. I think your horse will just about be running out now too, though. And Stoneteller did not take one of them, so.
I'm trying to. So I remember. No, the reason I asked, my ring lets me do animal friendship. Right?
Yep, it does.
And I don't know if I can find that spell.
It's a pre-spell, actually.
It's a what?
It's a pre-spell under animal.
Oh.
Yes, you get 2 hit dice worth of animal, so. If I'm remembering correctly, I will check my notes to confirm. Oh no, 5 hit die, excuse me. As I check my notey notes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go in.
As you try to go in, the bouncer puts a hand. It's a gold. It's a entrance fee.
Oh, before I do that,
Okay.
actually, no, yeah, I'll do that. I'll pay a gold.
He will put out a hand. You'll place a gold piece in it. He goes, go on in. Butler, too. It's fine. Mikey has put on his fancy butler clothes. I don't know if you wanted him to, but...
Yeah, I think that's for the best. I'm gonna remain in my current clothes because I only have one pair of fancy clothes, right? So I don't kind of want to waste it.
You don't want to be tacky and show up in your fancy clothes in front of these people twice.
Exactly. Right.
As you enter, there are a setting of tables that definitely appear to have poker games going on. There is a bar where a couple people sit drinking what looks to be very, very red or purple wines. You see that exit towards the outer ledge. You also see a spiraling staircase leading up to the second floor. Again, this building is stone, so it's a little less drafty than some of the wooden buildings you've seen. You see a large chandelier towards the middle of the room that has fancy antlers. It's carved out of antlers, and it's very fancy and has a lot of candles lit all over it. But there is a bartender sitting at that bar. Other than that, there looks to be many poker games at play. Have you ever gambled before, Elred?
Except with my life? No.
Yes. So you probably don't know what you're doing. You don't know the rules or how to sit down at a table, so...
I feel like, yeah, I'll go talk to the bartender and ask I'll just ask who's, make conversation, you know.
The bartender will be like, oh, hello, I am, Jameson.
Meet you, Jameson.
What can I get for you today?
Get me a nice glass of wine. And, tell me who's actually here. Like, I know this place is home to some fancy people, and I'm looking to make my acquaintance known.
Yes. He uncorks a bottle and will begin to pour you a glass of wine and then put it next to the bottle. He doesn't ask for payment as of yet. You're not sure what that's about. But he will... Oh, what's up, Floki? No. Trying to play D&D, don't come over here. He will uncork the bottle. He'll be like, who is who? Well, we occasionally have the prince stop by, but he is not here tonight. Other than that, there are a variety of local nobles, and he will begin to list off local nobles. Around halfway through the list, he does get to, and then there's Fester Browns, who is in attendance tonight. He is playing a game, of course, closed to the public mostly, but high buy-ins, you know.
What kind of game?
Ooh. Have you ever played Daggers?
Oh, what's that?
It is where you attempt to not slice off your fingers by taking a dagger and running it through the empty spaces in between your fingers. They bet on a local man who attempts to do it, and another local man who attempts as well. They bet on who will win. It is quite the exciting game, but not for everyone, so it is in the back.
Oh, I want to play that.
A man of danger. Well, they will require you to buy in to either watch or participate in the gambling, or even you could go in for free if you're a participant.
Ooh, interesting. Oh,
It
that's
is.
cool. I'd like to do that actually.
Be a participant?
Yeah.
I
I'm
will.
not using fingers for anything important.
Okay. Well, I will, follow me, and he will open a small, kind of wooden pallet that separates him in the bar and lead you to a back room where you hear a lot of commotion. You'll enter, and you'll see about 10 men, kind of circled around 2 other men. One is actually a woman who, are stabbing daggers between their fingers. Floki, please get out of my dice box so I can roll my dice. Oof. You see the man, he's doing the daggers, and you see him on his, like, 3rd attempt through chip his pinky, and he goes, ah, 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 and he kind of flinches very hard, but the woman deftly pushes the dagger through the divots in her fingers and is just pop, 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 just missing at every turn. And you hear a cheer go up as the man hits that divot in his, or hits his pinky, and a couple of people go, boo, no, no, and they sigh, and one man in particular with kind of yellowish hair, almost like it's dyed, and tanned skin, and this long purple coat, will go, ha ha, once again, Fester Browns is victorious. Oh, beautiful. More money for me. More money. Hand it over, Jameson. Hand over my winnings, and Jameson will go around with a little hat and collect some money and hand it over to Fester Browns. And again, do we have another participant? As you see the man with his kind of like half cut off pinky walk out of the room in shame and very upset. He gets a couple slaps on the back. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm more with that Fester Brown talks about himself in the 3rd person.
Well, I did say he was exuberant or fanciful, flavored.
Yeah. I smile and I raise my hand. I'd like to participate.
Oh, Faster sees an elf in the room. How wonderful. Do I bet against or for the elf, friends? And you see, he's definitely kind of in charge of this room as the men and women kind of whisper to each other. A couple whisper to Fester eventually, and he'll go, I will place a bet. Give me a charisma check, Elred. How impressive are you as a specimen, as an elf?
This is a game of dexterity, right? So they should know about elves, I'm assuming.
They do. Give me a charisma check. Let's see how dexterous you can make yourself appear. Just on the fly. How much bravado do you come with? Oh, ho, ho. Fester will go, I will certainly bet on the elf, for I know a thing or two about elves, and they very rarely miss their mark when it comes to arrows and daggers and long swords, I hear.
You heard correctly.
Fester does hope so. And you will be placed onto a table with the woman and a dagger. And I'm going to need a dex check as you...
Before I do that, actually, I'm going to stop and ask if I can bet on myself.
Everyone looks around. Fester will go, as Fester Browns, I will accept you to bet on yourself. If it is, as long as you don't cheat, everything should be fine.
What would you consider cheating?
Oh, you know, there's all the spells are all the rage, and we like to keep it clean here.
I can't use spells?
No. This is a talent of deafness, not wizardry.
Okay.
And wizards will rarely do the fun thing and do competitions where they cast fireballs at each other and see who survives. Oh, I've seen it only once, and it was quite the sight. I won 100 gold that day.
Alright, I'll take the risk. It's fine.
Okay. How much do you want to bet on yourself?
1 gold.
Okay. 1 gold?
10.
10 gold. Ooh, that's a lot of money. Fester Browns will go, I will also bet 10 gold on the elf. And you hear a couple of people going like, I've seen an elf, and Sarah can beat him any day. Sarah's got the fleetest fingers in all the land. Okay. She actually does, as I finally roll her stat. She has probably some of the fleetest fingers in all the human lands. Give me your dexterity check as you two dagger off, trying to miss your hand. She rolls a 26. You're looking to beat her. Oh, Jesus, another 19. You two go off to daggers. It takes a long time. The daggers shoot through each of your fingers. Sarah's staring you in the eyes. You're probably... Are you staring her in the eyes? What are you doing? Are you being cocky?
Yawning.
You're
This
yawning.
is too...
You take your kind of, you like put your face in your shoulder and yawn. You know, this is nothing. And it's like 10 minutes goes by, and you two are speeding up, and eventually Sarah stops her movement, looks at her hand. You see the dagger inches away from her index finger. She sighs, drops the dagger, and goes, "That's it, boys. That's all." And she will put down the dagger. You will be declared the victor. You will win an extra 5 gold, getting 15 back altogether. Fester will cheer. Oh, Fester Browns knew he would win. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. You're very delft, Mr. Elf, but I suppose you've run out of competitors, unless you want to face Fester Browns. And he will raise his arms, like, in the sky, like, cheerfully. Fester, the wonderful, the mighty, the deft.
I'd rather hear more about you, Fester. I'm actually here on vacation. I'm taking my leave from the court.
Well, a true man of action would face me in this challenge.
What challenge?
The daggers. I challenge you to daggers. Let me show my bravery and deftness. I could even beat an elf.
Okay. Fester,
He
are you
picks
sure
up the
you want to
dagger.
do that?
Fester Browns is always certain when he says something. Do you doubt my intentions and goodwill? I'll give you...
I don't.
If you win, I will give
worried.
you 50 gold pieces. He gives a smile. The room goes, oh, Fester, he's doing it. He's going to actually do it. How can he win?
Well, I'll oblige you then. Right.
Okay. He will begin to do daggers. How do you play this, Elred?
I don't know, because I know he's a proud person, right? But I also don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to humiliate him.
Okay. I'm rolling my dice until I hear an answer from what your intention is
I
here.
I will act like I'm into the competition, but
Okay.
I'll lose.
Well, give me a dexterity check just to make sure, and a charisma check after that. In combination to see if you actually fuck up. You don't fuck up. Now let's see if you can fake fucking up just enough to deal with him. He will roll a, what is this? Hold on. He'll roll a 31. You'll beat him, but let's give your charisma check to see how you perform faking interest. Okay. So that's a pass. So you try to basically let him win, or just not?
I just make it really close. Make it look really close.
But
It is really close.
Do you lose?
But,
Or do you win?
No, I win. I win.
Okay. You're making it look like he almost bested you. The daggers go on for even longer than it did with Sarah. He's putting the daggers between his fingers. He speeds up. He's looking you in the eyes, and then he'll do the same yawn that you did. This is quite easy. What is your name, say elf, as you're daggering between your fingers?
I'm Alred of the court of Wakeport.
Of the court? How? Ow! 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 Oh, you dastard, you tricked me. That interesting information made me stab myself.
Oh.
Well, you are certainly very deft, and on a better day, Festa Browns would have beaten you. Isn't that right, everyone? And everyone nods. Yes, Fester is wonderful. He's grand. He's great.
Don't doubt it.
The court of Wakeport. You are a noble? He looks you up and down.
I'm the court magi.
Magi. You are a spellcaster.
Yeah.
And you also are deft of fingers. How interesting.
As you can see, I'm not a human being, so...
I didn't know Clarice Wakewhite had a magi. That stubborn old fool.
Very, very recent, actually. I've recently been appointed.
Are things good there? Is Clarice still militaristic as always? The old dog always wanting to fight. Why fight when we could party and sing and dance and drink and be merry?
Not from what I've seen. It's been relatively peaceful. Wakeport, as long as I've been there.
Well, you do know that your liege lord is off petitioning to go to war, right? Just to make sure. Okay.
I do. I do.
Just making sure that you were conscious of that. So that is
I'm aware, but
though.
It's kind of a lie by omission. Like, so far it's been peaceful, right?
Yes.
So
I won't make you do a charisma check, but it is interesting. I like to know if there's intention behind those answers as a DM. So.
There is.
Okay. How strange. He's usually very loud with his objections to peace, but maybe you've tempered his hard heart and his golden blade.
Maybe he's just gotten old. I don't know. People tend to calm down when they're older.
Oh, how old is he? How many years? 45. Oof, he is quite old. The man before you looks like 29.
He could be a granddad at this point.
Yes, he could be a great grandfather, I suppose, or a grandfather. Either one, potentially, depending on his flavor. Would you? You're a magi there. What spells can you cast? Out of curiosity.
I cast Cat's Grace.
You cast Cat's Grace. Give me your. Ooh, you don't have any elven cat whiskers, do you?
Oh, I forgot about
You can replace that spell if you'd like, since.
No, I'll get it. I'll get it later. That's fine.
I mean, in your memorized spells today, not permanently. Like in whatever you have memorized today.
Oh, okay. So, I will say, stand back, everyone. Stand back.
The room will spread out. One man will go, is this far enough? As he's like 5 feet away.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna look for the place with the least wood.
The least wood.
I'm gonna cast Burning Hands.
This place is made out of stone, so you can spread everyone out behind you, and at the end wall, you'll have Mikey take off a painting. Mikey will be like a magician's assistant, basically like, I removed the painting, and you'll watch as Elred, and he'll try and perform his best. He's objectively terrible. He goes, I'm Mikey, hi, how's it going? He tries to introduce himself and shake people's hands before he does anything. It's that kind of thing where he has no idea how to read the situation.
Don't mind my manservant. He's still in training.
You'll see Fester Browns is even more interested by this country bumpkin you've brought into your service. It's quite strange to see someone of your station have someone like that as their butler. but the painting will get removed from the wall, and you'll have a nice stone wall. Give me your burning hands. Give me your roll for it. Let's see how impressive and fiery it is.
I think it's like 2d6, right?
Let me just check. It's in alteration, burning hands. It is 1d3 plus 2 per level. So that'd be your level 3, so it's another plus 6. So it should be pretty fiery, unless you roll super poorly.
Okay, so it's 1d3 plus 3, right?
Yes. No, plus 6. It's 2 per level. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You do a lot of damage with burning hands. 2 points for each level of experience, yeah. And there's a saving throw.
Nice.
Whew.
Super burny.
Okay. You take your burning hand spell. What does it look like as you cast it against this wall? How are you directing the flames? Is it a cool, like, light show, or is it, like, just pure power?
It's a cool light show, right? Like, the flames come out of my fingertips almost individually and just kind of merge together, like, causing this cone, and then I just kind of move it around.
You kind of rake it around the wall, then maybe draw some shape or something in a. Okay. Ooh, you'll hear coos and ahs from the crowd. It's like ooh, ah, oh, wild. Fester Browns will clap. Everyone follows suit, and you'll hear him speak up. Well, Mr. Elred. Magi Elred, excuse me, proper titles and all that being so important to Fester Browns and the crowd here. Would you be interested in attending a party tomorrow night?
Well, I wouldn't want to refuse Fester Browns, so yes, of course.
Yes. My estate is just outside of town. Here, let me get you directions, and he will describe the way to his home. He'll be like, I would love to have you in attendance. I tend to have an assortment of interesting personalities, and you would fit right in with that crowd.
Oh, that seems really interesting. It'd be nice to make some inroads with, people of my station. It's very boring to talk to the vicar and the steward all the time.
Yes, I assume it could get so boring in Wakeport. Oh, those wooden structures. The architecture alone is enough to stay away. My lord.
Yes.
And, sorry about that. He'll pour himself a glass of wine once again. As I pour myself a drink. And he will go, well, very well. I believe it is time to call it a night for me. I have a good book to read tonight. Fester Browns is never one to waste a good set of reading. I think it's the Adventures of the Indarian Plains for me tonight. Terry,
oh, I haven't read that one. I'll check it out.
You'll check out my book?
I mean, is it the only one in existence?
There are very few copies of these books around. Books are very... Are you not to learn... We don't have to roleplay this, but books are very rare and expensive.
I understand. It's before the printing press, right?
Yes. So he'll look a little like, oh, you have access to a library?
Yeah, I am a court wizard.
I suppose. Well, we'll have to chat about that sometime soon.
You will.
I'd love to exchange letters with you here and there.
Of course. I can't wait to actually see you at your party.
Yes.
So I'll be taking my leave now.
Well, very well. I will see you tomorrow evening. When the sun comes down, please do come around. He'll give you a smile. Okay. And do you do anything else that night? Fester Browns will bid you adieu. He'll be like, Fester Browns is exiting, and he will walk out with a group of men and women in tow. You are left in this noble bar with Mikey. Mikey looks so uncomfortable. He knows he made a fool of himself. He's not an idiot. He's just not very good at these social situations. Yeah.
That's fine.
Mike could be like, "Do we go talk to Stone Teller?" Or...
Yeah, we do.
Okay. You go to the poor establishment. Mikey will remove his butler clothes while you're walking through town, unless you object. But you'll make it to this inland paradise. It is as described, inland, but not as described, a paradise. It is a rundown tavern in the middle of town. It's a large wooden building with a sign barely hanging on. You enter, and you see in another corner of a tavern, just like you found her in Mon Mill, is Stone Teller, the female halfling, with her hood up, drinking alone.
I sit down with Stone Teller.
She sighs. So?
We're in, yeah. Made some money, too.
Good. Well, I'll scope out the place tonight. Find a way onto the roof, if that's still our plan.
Mm-hmm. I'll expect good news tomorrow morning.
Okay. If you whistle, when we do this, if I can find this chimney, if I can find the right one, you're gonna whistle up it. I'm gonna be up there most of the night. Okay?
Okay.
If I don't come back, it's because I'm up there. Okay?
All right, awesome.
Very well. And she will stand up, take one last swig of her drink. You catch her eyes. She's got like these dark hazel eyes and this long kind of like reddish hair. And she also has, you're starting to notice as you look under her hood, she's had it pulled over her face most of the time, is this kind of grayish tint to some of her skin. Not all of it, but just like a couple patches of gray here and there. And she'll give a nod and walk off, slinking through the tavern.
Oh, does she have like some kind of disease or something?
Do you ask?
Yeah, I ask her, what's wrong with your face?
You catch a big eye from her as she finally looks up at you fully for the first time. You see those big patches with that kind of like weird grayish patch. Don't ask that again. She kind of gestures to her daggers. She'll turn around and walk off.
Okay. Sensitive.
You could do a lore if you want.
Yeah, sure, I'll do lore. Why not? Oh no.
Just 2 points shy. You're not sure what it is, which is strange. You spent time with the dwarves. Yeah, you know it has something to do with dwarves. You're like, what is that? It's on the tip of your head, or the tip of your tongue, but you just can't remember. It's something to do with dwarves and curses, or sicknesses, or oh God, it's something. Maybe it's a monster bite.
I'll ask later.
Okay. Well, you can now move on if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep. I don't know which spells to prepare though.
Okay. That is an important question for us.
Armor, I guess. Mount. Another mount. Cat's Grace. And Glitter Dust.
Glitter Dust, the blinding spell. You memorize Cat's Grace again, even though you don't have the Elven Whiskers required?
Oh yeah, then Burning Hands.
Okay. That is a level 1 spell, but you can exchange a higher slot for a lower one if you do want to do that.
I will, but it doesn't do anything.
Okay. Burning Hands. Alrighty. You memorize those spells and can take off. Do you sleep for the night? Do you do anything else tonight, or you just...
I'm just gonna go to sleep.
Okay, you shuck up in an inn somewhere, probably the middle class one. It'll only cost you 5 silver pieces for the middle class, 3 copper for the poor, or 5 copper, excuse me, for the poor.
I'll spend the 5 silver.
Okay. You shack up there with Mikey. You'll both rest easily. You'll wake up in the morning, and there is no stone teller that has arrived or seen. Mikey's awake before you. He says he traveled to look for her and did not find her at that tavern in the morning.
So we're gonna assume that she's on the roof, right?
That is what she said.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So what does Elred do? Does he do anything for the day, or is he just waiting for this party?
Mikey, is there anything that you think we should do?
Mikey looks around. Never been to Monthoris before. Figure we should get a scope of the area, look around a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Let's have a field trip.
Okay.
You know, do some shopping. What?
You'll walk around to the local stores. The only thing really of note here is that there is a lot more goods and items available than there is in Wakeport. Wakeport does have a lot of wealth coming through it from the Dwarven Hold in the Independence Pass. There is a entrance to their underground passage right at the tip of this mountain range that only dwarves are allowed into generally. Of course, there's an exception for you, but so there's a lot of rare minerals that will come through Wakeport, but they'll soon be sold off and traded for wood that comes from Wakeport and their major industry. In Monthoris, though, Monthoris is more of a leisure place for nobles. You're starting to get that picture as you walk around town. You're seeing a lot more nobility. But as you chat with people in the streets, you hear things as you drink throughout the day or enter a tavern and talk with Mikey, and you overhear people. This place is like the vacation spot for nobility, and that's their major industry, where most places are, they have fishing or farming. This place has farms and estates, but most of them are in service to the nobility. And the reason why they're all here is because it's warmer than Monmore. Monmore is not cold, it's just more temperate. And it also is probably the safest place in the kingdom, right next to Monmark. But Monmark serves other specific purpose that you're not fully aware of, that Monthoris doesn't, and so they shuck up in Monthoris, and it has become kind of a pleasure center for the nobles, where they hang out and party. Okay. And that's what most of your days spent doing. Other than that, you find temple with a vicar as well, but it's a vicar to Judicon. I don't know if you're interested in that. So the cleric of law and justice and order. You learn his name is Hagen.
Do you have a wizard here?
No wizard. You're sure there's probably traveling wizards here and there if you look in an inn or a tavern, but there is no court wizard. You also learn, I guess, this was mentioned before, but the every place with a mon on it is ruled by a prince. And this one is ruled by Prince Edwin Mon Loofwaffle, is the family name, Mon Loofwaffle. Mon, of course, being one of the important parts. But Edwin is a 28-year-old prince who takes after kind of the spirit of this town and is kind of seen as the not the black sheep, but more of the like jovial, like party sheep, you know, of the principality. He rarely attends his council meetings that he's supposed to.
Fester Browns?
No, not Fester. Edwin von Luftwaffe.
Oh,
yes.
So he's like their Caligula. Cool.
Yeah, he is irresponsible, but you doubt from the stories that he really cares about that reputation. Yeah,
Must be nice being a noble.
Noble of Monthoris is the most noble, according to them, as they take root of the pleasures and fun in life and make it seen. Okay. Do you do anything else throughout the day with Mikey? Or are we skipping to
I'm gonna go look for Elven Whiskers.
Yeah, you'll need an elven cat. And elven cats are usually pretty hard to come by. You'll probably want to talk to your friends in the Mon for that. As you talk around the shops, they're like, oh, elven cat whiskers. You'd probably need an elf or a magic shop. There's one in Mon Mill, and I don't believe there's a wizard in Montmartre that holds a shop, but there's likely a court wizard there. Montmort will certainly have everything you'll need, although it may come at a premium. The capital is full of magic shops and temples and all those things that the capital business requires, but it's very expensive to live there, I hear.
Okay, then.
No, Floki, not right now.
Yeah, I don't feel like there's anything here for us, Mikey.
Interesting place, nonetheless. Mikey will go.
All right, I'm gonna go back to the inn and take a nap.
Okay, you'll take a nap. Mikey will wake you up around evening and go, I think it's time for the party, Elred.
All right. I put on my fancy clothes and I tell Mikey to put on his manservant suit and let's rock.
Okay, you will both get all dressed up. As you... God, this cat. Okay, hold on. Give me just a brief second. He's decided to sit on my, my notes. Oh, come on, buddy. Please. Let's get down. Come on. There we go. We can chat later. I don't know how I feel about this. What's this sound like? I'm trying to get the right feel for this. This should be fine. Turn it up a little bit. Alrighty. You are walking through this small outcropping to this mansion. And you begin to see other guests probably arriving or servants coming to deliver goods to the mansion. As you come into view, you see first the back of the house as you're coming across it. Outside, you see a large hedge garden and a small wall that can easily probably be scaled by anyone, but it's there more for show than anything else. There's a back gate and a front gate, of course, probably at the front, but you're at the back one. Outside, you see a man also in a tuxedo standing at it, and he will look to you, give you a nod, and at the back of this house, you'll also see this large glass sunroom that has been described to you. It's about probably 20 to 30 feet, rough estimate, as you stare at it. You do see guests already in there, drinking and dancing. Some are arm-locked, doing ballroom dances, and they look to be having a very good time. The man in the tuxedo will look to you and go, I believe you are Elred. No invitation required for one such as you, as he looks you up and down.
I am. Thank you.
Yes, and he will loudly posture upwards and go, declaring Elred and manservant arriving. And open the gate to you to walk onto the grounds. Do you enter?
Of course.
Okay. You walk through the grounds. You see a variety of guests sitting in outside chairs, kind of drinking and partying. You've estimated there's probably 40 to 50 people in attendance who are guests, and there is probably more servants seeing to those people. But it's hard to catch a rough estimate of the servants. They tend to shift in and out of rooms, and it's hard to get a real accounting of all of them. As you wander outside here, for now, you will see a large fountain as you curve around towards the front that appears to have some sort of deity kind of emboldened on it. It looks to be a large pig person, a pig-like man, who's got like a snout of a pig, but the face of a man and the body of a very large man, and like it's got a large curved pigtail coming off of it, and the statue has a mug of ale in one hand, and on the other you see in the hand of the statue fountain kind of combo is a pair of dice. Give me a lore check just to tell who this might be. What did you get? Oof, that's bad.
Yeah, I don't think I ever succeed in these.
You have not done well in your lore. You're unaware, but it looks to be a personification of some sort of deity. I'll leave that to your own musings. But there's this large entrance with two big columns. Some of this building is stone. It does look like the upper floor is wood. Looks like an addition. But you can enter. Do you enter into the main entrance? And
yeah, I do.
Okay. You enter in, and as you enter into the ballroom, you are probably surprised as you enter, and over your head you see fire shoot as a torch, not a torch blower, what are they called? A man who can breathe fire, not magically, but through circus tricks, is shooting fire over guests as they enter, making sure not to burn them, but just enough to have that little shock and surprise. Other than that, as you look in, you see the main ballroom is cleared for dancing, and instead there are jugglers kind of shooting balls up into the air, doing a show in the middle of the room. You see kind of behind them, towards that glass room, but not in it, sitting on a chair with a variety of people next to him standing, whispering into his ear or laughing and clapping at the jugglers, is the tanned, kind of golden, yellowed-haired, definitely dyed, Fester Browns, who sits in his chair, has a glass of wine in one hand and what looks to be an apple in the other, and chomps on the apple and takes swigs of the wine and will occasionally chat with the people around him. Other than that, to the left and right, you do see those four rooms, doors all closed, although one of them continually opens. The bottom right one appears to be probably a kitchen, because you're seeing a lot of servants coming out with trays. Other than that, most of the doors remain closed. The three others, the two left ones haven't opened yet, and the top right one hasn't opened at all from what you can see. But again, I'll continue to describe this place. I'll actually start describing the guests. There's a multitude of guests here, but a couple catch your eye. There is a small group of dwarves hanging around the kitchen, kind of discussing. It looks to be they are keeping to themselves. Towards the sunroom, you see a man with a large staff. Clearly at the top of it, a light spell is cast. You'd be familiar with that magic. And it kind of illuminates the room around him. He's got golden robes, and he looks to be roughly middle-aged, nondescript beyond that. Those two things. Towards kind of the outside-ish, kind of hanging around the entrance, is a man in plate mail with a big warhammer. And adjacent from him is a woman who has long silver hair, and she has a bow, and definitely had some kind of holy symbol around her neck. What does Elred do here?
Elred is gonna go talk to the dwarves.
Okay, you'll head over towards the kitchen, where the dwarves are hanging out. They appear to be, as you enter into their conversation, they are talking in Dwarven, but Elred speaks Dwarven, I'm almost certain of it, due to his history. You hear them discussing whether or not it is a good or a bad idea to have that wooden construction above this stone one. Most of them are saying, well, it's wood. Of course, stone would be superior. But does it hold up the test of time? Clearly not. It should be made out of stone. And then you'll hear one argue, but wood can work for these humans. They don't live as long, and, you know. And then another dwarf goes, how dare you? Our creation should last for a millennium. For many, many, many more years than even a dwarf can live. They should be sturdy and strong. And that conversation continues. Do you want to butt in?
Yeah, I just chime in and I say, of course I agree with the idea that stone is superior.
One of the dwarves cheers up. He goes, of course, the elf would agree with you. The other goes, well, he has a taste for the finer things. And they are speaking to you in Dwarven and will look to you, kind of surprised, as they turn around and see the elf, although one did comment on you. There's about
Wait, this is my area of expertise, right? Like, I'm a debater.
Yes. Are you going to try to debate?
Yeah, I debate the merits of stone over wood.
Okay, give me your charisma with an extra +4 for your debate proficiency. This is an applicable application.
Wow.
Oh God, Elred. Oh no. The dwarf pounds his fist on the table. A platter shifts off of it. It gets a large attention of the crowd. Well, I never. An elf trying to tell me how to craft. This will be the one who is talking about the wood. I never in my many years saw such hubris. And now I know why ye bastards stay in your mountain holds or your trees. It's 'cause you can't handle the work of stone. You're too brash, you're too brazen, and this dwarf will get enraged at your comments, giving angry shouts. One of his friends will try and stop him and be like, Hilmir, stop! He's just an elf. He doesn't know what he's saying. And the other will go, ha 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 ha. He will antagonize him and slap a hand on your back and go, this guy knows what he's talking about. Hilmir, you dumbass. You don't know your dwarven structure. He switched into common for that, by the way. And you see the attention has been brought to you. You see smiling in his chair, giving a giggle, is Fester. And he will raise a glass. He'll be like, Fester Brown's here to cheer my friend and new acquaintance Elred and his wonderful tact with dwarves. And you'll hear a cheer and jeer from the crowd as they giggle and laugh. What do you do, Elred?
I'm gonna play it off. I'm gonna smile and say, I'm just teaching the dwarves a thing or two, right?
The dwarf who slapped your back will give you a large eyebrow. Is like, this has been, now that's too far. And the dwarves will kind of walk away in a huff outside with a little more ale than they had before as they grab some off.
I was clearly joking, right?
They don't look happy about it.
I know, but I rolled a 1. What can I do?
Yes. That'll happen.
It happens.
What does Elred do now?
I laugh along with Fester.
Do you go close to him then?
Yeah, I'm gonna greet him.
Fester will greet you. He's got a lot of people around him. You'll kind of have to fight through this crowd to get to him. He'll be like, Elred, it's nice to see you. I hope you're enjoying the party as much as I am. And he'll take a swig of wine and go, you seem to be very fond of dwarves, or at least maybe not so fond?
I'm fond of them. They just happen to not be fond of me, right? It is what it is.
It's rare I see an elf walk into a party and wander towards the dwarves. I have only had a few elves at my parties, but it is interesting to see that you chose to speak to them first.
Oh, yeah, I've actually lived among dwarves for quite some time. So I'm accustomed to their ways.
May I ask where?
Near Independence Pass.
I've never been myself, but I've heard tale after tale. You spent time with them. Tell me your best dwarf story. And Teo, I'm going to need an actual dwarf story followed by a charisma check. Or no story. It's up to you. Putting you on the spot for a dwarf story.
All right, so there's this so first time I get there, right? You know, I'm walking around, surveying the place. Everywhere is short, I have to like duck to get into buildings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I enter an inn, the innkeeper is busy, tells me that he needs that I should just go grab breakfast myself, right? And I go to the back, right? I don't see anyone working. It's pretty early, right? I'm up and awake earlier than everyone else, and I see an egg, right? And I'm just as I'm about to like crack it open, right? He goes, "That's not breakfast, that's my son." And I just start laughing.
He'll start to laugh. Let's see if it actually works. Let's give that charisma check. I do like you incorporating my lore of dwarves laying eggs to reproduce and only being male. Let's not see another natural one. So let's see that charisma.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Ugh. You'll see the dwarves have walked back in as you're telling the story, and you'll be surprised as you turn around and they're behind you. And the big dwarf who you had spoken to before, he's about 5 foot tall. He's super tall for a dwarf. Will go, "You think that's funny?"
Yes, I do think it's funny.
You think dwarven eggs are funny?
Yeah, I do.
He will take his fist and go, "On guard, men, or elf, for I'm taking you out today, and I'm gonna need you to roll initiative." As you now need to brawl, perhaps with a dwarf. He goes at 9. Is that your initiative? 8? You go first.
Yeah.
What does Elred do as he gets into a party fight? Oh, this has gone well for me. I don't know if it's gone well for Elred, but the DM is happy with this.
I'm gonna cast
That glitter dust is a big AoE.
Yeah.
There are gonna be a plethora of partygoers that get hit with that if you do cast that, but feel free. Oh dear.
I'm gonna cast armor.
You hadn't cast that? Okay. You cast armor and your AC goes up. He will go in for a punch. He whiffs it. As he goes to punch you, You shift out of the way just in time, and he catches the air. It goes back to you as you hear cheers and a crowd begins to form around you. Fester Browns goes, "Today we see a elf and a dwarf square off. Who will win in a fist fight? The elven mage or the burly dwarf warrior smith? Who wins this one?"
I cast Mount.
You cast Mount. What is appearing before us, Elred?
A random donkey.
A random donkey appears. Do you want to roll animal handling, or is this donkey?
No. I just cast it and I say, "Look, he's making an ass of himself."
Give me another charisma check. Let's see. I think this is worthy of one. Oh my god. 26. You hear cheers go up from the crowd. His face goes red as he goes in for another sock, this time against the donkey. "You dare do your fancy magics in front of me." He whiffs it. You see him go to punch the donkey. The donkey gives a kick and square kicks the dwarf in the jaw, and you see it crack, and he falls backward in a huff. His friends go to console him. He is clearly unconscious. As he gets dragged off, Fester Brown claps spells and incantations. He's a summoner, people. He's a shaper of things. He's a court magi. He's a wizard. Wonderful, wonderful. Fester Brown will go into an
start bowing to the crowd.
The crowd will give a clap. Truly, at least the Grey Elves can best the dwarfs. If I'm not Fester Browns myself, I would have done it, but of course I love to see a good fight. Well, Elred, come, tell us tales about how many creatures you've bested. And kind of winging off of your fight in your charisma check, I feel like
this is actually like, yeah, I like make a big show and tell them the story about the Rat King, not like including the whole like, you know, him being related to the, you know, to the Lake Wides, right? Do you embellish yourself in that story, or are you telling it how Boris stabbed him through the head to kill him? Are you emboldening Boris, Elred? No, I'm not. Okay. Boris is this is about me now, right? So Mikey sits beside you, cheering you on. He won't even give an attempt at speaking, given how last time it went. Although you've been doing poorly as well. I also tell them about the necromancer and how I defeated him with the help of my manservant, Mikey. You've assembled a large crowd listening to your stories. You have no lack of attention. You will tell these stories. People will cheer at the scary parts. They'll laugh and cry and look fearful when you speak about the necromancer. That's more of a scary tale for them. They'll look in fear. They'll ask a bunch of questions. You can answer or not answer to your heart's content. I'll answer. Like, yeah, I'm loving this. For once, you do see Fester Browns is actually quiet as he listens deeply. At the end, the night continues on after you've told all your stories, but it's getting late. Guests are wandering off, some into various rooms, others are sleeping in chairs, some have left the grounds entirely. You do peer out, the entrance is open, and you can see someone is sleeping in the fountain, half covered in water, half outside of it. Luckily, his face is the one outside. And he gives, Fester Browns gives a toast. He goes, "Well, this has been one of my better gatherings. I would like to thank Clara, the ranger." He gives a toast to her. You see the woman with the bow and the holy symbol over in the corner. "And then I would also like to thank her friend, Thomas." He gestures to the warrior with the warhammer. "And my dwarven companions seem to not be here anymore, but let's give a tally-ho to them, as they have provided us with needless entertainment, although I doubt those dwarves in particular will be coming back. They did not have a good time. But finally, to my most astounding guest tonight, as of course I know many of you do know already, Elred,
the Shaper, Magi of Wakeport, where Clarus Wakewide has been boring in our time, as we have come to know him as a noble. His court wizard, his Magi, is fantabulous, a roughhouser. He's taken knives to his hand, he's fought necromancers, rat kings and whatnot, and also he'll take on any dwarf in a fist fight and make an ass of them. He gives a clap and a clap. And Elred, how do you take that? What do you do? Do you give a bow? Are you bashful? What is the...
I give a bow.
Okay. As you plan to steal from this man, you give him a bow as he regales your tale. And some of the stories you've made here tonight, certainly you will be the talk. Like, so just as an insight, right, on the politics of things, you have certainly made your presence known in the land at this point. You're at a party full of nobility and famous adventurers, and you're sitting here, like, punching dwarves, you know, getting roughhousing with them, and telling your tales about how you slayed necromancers. You're probably going to be known after tonight. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I am. I am okay.
Elred is probably going to get a reputation. That's all I'm saying. And you're good with that, so that's good. But you will look to probably Fester Browns, and Fester will go, "Dear Elred, I would humbly, me, Fester Browns, invite you to drink wine with me in my cellar. A couple of us will go down together and enjoy a more quiet setting where I can regale you with some of my stories from my book that I am about to release to the select few about my tales during the war with the Northerners. Would you like to hear it?"
Yes, of course. I'd love to.
Very well. And he will lead you and one other individual down into the cellar. Mikey will, of course, join you. You enter into this cellar. It appears to be one room with only a separation of bars between this side of the room and the other. You see on the other side of the room is a large chest with a couple of things on what look to be shelves or a table. You do see an egg across from you in these bars. A short sword glimmers on the wall. It's got this nice kind of like embroidery of like a rose kind of lining through it. It has a nice kind of gemmed emerald pommel. Also on the wall is a quiver of arrows that is pointed upside down, and every so often you'll see an arrow drop out of the quiver and then just dissipate like into ethereal matter. And you'll just continue to see that throughout this time on the other side of the wall. You'll also see two large chests in that room with the bars. Other than that, on the opposite side of the room where you've entered is a small sitting room with a fireplace, and along that fireplace, kind of like sitting positioned inside of it, it looks like there's been carved out positions where wine can be stored. And there are various wine bottles pushed into the cellar all around it. What do you do as you see Fester Browns produce a book? He sits out a chair for you and the other person who came down here. It appears to be a woman, very beautiful, with kind of blondish hair and kind of rosy red freckled cheeks and blue eyes. She's a very beautiful human woman. Do you sit down and listen to a story?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. He will regale you of his tale in the war. It mostly focuses around him fighting the snow elves. Specifically one in particular he got into a scuffle with, where he was unaware of their glamour, and he tried to take his nice big bastard sword. You doubt he could even lift a bastard sword, but His tale tells that he tried to run it through, but he ran it straight through its body, but that body dissipated, and suddenly the elf was adjacent to him rather than right next to him, and he was displaced from his position, and he was clearly a spellcaster, and he talks about how he single-handedly found the true position of the elf, didn't slay the elf himself, but held him down as others joined in the fight, and finally slayed the blood snow elf and their evil gods as they tried to take sacrifices.
I didn't know that Fester Browns was such a capable man.
Do you say that?
Yeah, I do actually. Like, I tell him that I'm surprised that someone who loves partying so much is so capable on the battlefield, right?
Yes, I am quite the capable soldier. I'm an adventurer, is the word I prefer. I'm an adventurer, a poet. I'm a poet. Did you know I'm a poet? I bet you wouldn't know it.
You said you mentioned something about writing a book, right? So yeah, I would believe it.
Yes, this is my book. This is my tale, as he gestures to his book. I would give you a copy if you'd be interested.
I would be, actually.
He will go to the small bookshelf he pulled that book off of and hand you a copy. He goes, now. It's not fully released yet to the public, so don't show anyone. This is yours, signed by the very first and only Fester Browns.
Thank you.
He will hand you that book. Now, this chatting, he begins to chat with you and the woman. You notice a flirty relationship between the two of them. How are you going to get yourself alone down here? What is your plan for that? Elred recedes into his
pretend to fall asleep.
You'll pretend to fall asleep.
Yeah, like I'm like drinking wine and stuff. Maybe I've had a little too much.
Give me a charisma check as you pretend to drift off into slumber. Jesus. Not only do you not look like you're drifting off, you tend to drift off and almost fall out of your chair. And Fester will go, "Oh, Elred, are you okay?" And he will go give you a hand to get up and go, "I think you need to rest off to bed. I do have a room upstairs if you'd be fancied it." What do you say, Elred? Let's take you up. And he'll put an arm around you and begin to try and guide you upstairs.
I'll tell him that I'm so dizzy. I don't even think able to make it up. Is it okay if I just lay down here?
He frowns. I don't usually leave people in my wine cellar. It's a bad habit. Here, let me... not Jalissa. I almost named her after the cleric. Farah, will you please come with me? We'll go get a servant to help his manservant carry him up, as it'd be probably difficult for him to do it themselves. And they will walk off upstairs. You have probably a very limited amount of time here.
I'll whistle up the chimney.
Okay, do you remove the grate?
Yeah, I do.
Remove the grate. I'm going to start an actual timer. It will begin as soon as I can hit it. Okay. The timer begins, and you will hear climbing as it takes about 30 seconds for her to get down the chimney. You see coming out of it is a very dust-covered and smoke-covered halfling. And she will be like, "Okay, where is it?" And she'll look around. She'll see the gate. She'll go, "All right, I'm going to bring my tools over there. I'm going to pick those locks. Nothing unexpected is going to happen, right?"
You don't have much time.
She goes, "Shit."
You're on a clock.
She breathes deeply. The first minute, she does not get the lock open. So we are currently on a little over 2 minutes here now. The second minute she fails. We're at 3 minutes.
Wait, I'm gonna do.
Oh, wait.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
On the third minute, halfway through, she gets it. It's open. She goes in. She goes, just the egg?
Just the egg.
Are you sure? I'm sure those are full of gold. We could grab some. I just need more time to pick the locks.
This is not. I'm not.
Okay.
No, just the egg.
She'll sigh. There better be a position in Wakeport. And she'll go grab the egg, put it in a knapsack, and run back towards the fireplace, closing the gate behind her. Or not closing the gate behind her. She'll leave that to you or Mikey. And she'll scurry up the chimney fireplace thing that sits in this basement. Let me just make sure she passes her climb check. She passes her climb check. That's a super hard check to fail as a thief. She passes it, and it's about 5 minutes, and you're still down here alone. Do you lay down like you're wasted?
Easy. I make sure everything's in place. I put the grate back, lock the gate.
Okay.
And yeah, I just sit around.
You can't lock the gate, but you can close it like it's locked still. There's no way to tell, right? But
I mean, I put the lock back on, right? Yeah. That's what I just close it.
Well, cool. At minute 12, Fester Browns will walk downstairs with what appears to be 2 big, large servants. And now, Elred, this is kind of out of your hands. But Fester Browns is going to roll his perception. He has 12 perception as a score. He rolls a 16. So that is a pretty decent pass. Yeah. He looks around. That's an issue. Fester Browns is not happy. Boys, get him up to the bedroom, please. And you will be carried up to the bedroom by the men, unless you resist.
I don't.
Mikey will head out, and you'll be put in bed. And just for some flavor, I'm going to talk about what happens outside, although you're not there. So we got to see how quickly our little thief can make her way out. And if she does not, what Mikey does. Because Mikey doesn't get to go to bed with you. He has to go back to the inn. And he's going to see something if it does happen.
Sure.
She's relatively quick. She's taking off as she's spotted. She is absolutely spotted as she is seen vaulting over a gate. You'll hear a yell outside as you lay in your bed. But other than that, the rest is unknown to you. You're left sleeping.
Okay.
And the night drifts off into sleeping. As we drift into some other music. Okay, Elred. You're in this bed. You have maybe successfully stolen an egg? You're not sure. Hopefully it's the hippogriff egg. Hopefully she got away. You have no idea, though. You, do you sleep the whole night? Yeah?
I'm gonna get up as early as possible.
Okay, you'll wake up at the crack of dawn. You'll hear a rooster crow outside. You're in this bedroom on the top floor. What do you do?
If I start leaving, yeah.
Okay, you open the door, you see a hallway. You see just one man standing by a door at the end of the hallway. And he'll nod to you. You are actually at the right near the stairwell. But you do hear the voices of like maybe 3 women and 3 men coming from the end of the hallway in that room down there. Okay.
Do I recognize these voices?
Give me a perception check. No,
Nope.
It's indistinguishable through this wall. You see a stairwell downwards. Do you exit?
Yeah, I do. I continue onwards.
Okay, you go down, you find yourself in a room, a servant leads you through another door, and you see that you come out of the room right next to the kitchen. You do see that basement room was the bottom left one, just as a note, on the other side of you right now. You see a couple people passed out in various places around. There are plenty of servants cleaning up here, tearing around. As you do, one servant will come up to you, hand you that book, because you obviously didn't carry it up as you were pretending to be passed out. He'll hand you the book, and a note is on top of it. Looks to be a letter.
Note.
Okay. You read the note. It says, "Dearest Eldred, I quite enjoyed our party. It is likely I will be preoccupied in the coming days with..." There's a big highlighted, like, underlined statement, "urgent matters," and it'll have an exclamation point. "But I very much did enjoy our company. I would like to either see you again or hear from you in letters. Also, if you happen to see a small halfling female, apparently there was a robbery last night, and she took off with one of my prized possessions. It's a hippogriff egg. If you see it, please let me know. I have sent for the local authority, although they have not seen her yet." Okay, and what do you do, Elred? You can go meet up with Mikey at the tavern?
I go meet up.
Okay, you head into town. Mikey's at that middle-class inn that you stayed at. He's like, "Hey, boss man. Things went a little sour, huh?"
Guess so. I mean, it worked out in the end, I guess.
"Do you know where Stone Teller is?"
Was she meet us back here?
She's not here, boss. I haven't seen or heard from her.
Hmm.
Where do you think she could be? She didn't take off, did she?
It's possible she did, because seeing as she was caught, well, she was seen, but not caught. So, I'd assume she'd go back to Mon Mill, right? If she could help it, or I don't think she can, because the roads would be probably, yeah, they would probably be looking for someone traveling.
I don't know. I'm sure she's pretty sneaky.
I'm actually gonna see if I don't have any connections here. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, can you spend a day looking for her?
Where do you look, though, is the important part.
Any place where there are like other ne'er-do-wells and shit like that, right?
Okay, you go to the CV Inland Paradise Tavern, and look around for her.
Yep.
Give me a perception check as you enter that tavern looking for her. You don't see her immediately, but that doesn't mean she's not here. You look around. you're not being nondescript about it, and eventually, as you're looking around, you don't see Stone Teller, but a small halfling boy will come up to you and nudge your pocket, and you'll feel like, oh, did he just lift something? And instead of finding less money, you find a note in your pocket.
I read the note.
It's clearly not like from someone who's literate, but it has an arrow and it points upwards and then to the right.
I follow the directions.
What do you mean by that?
Go forward and right.
You end up walking towards the bar? How long do you wait at the bar?
Oh, wow.
Okay, an hour passes, nothing happens.
Is there anything else in the note, or is it just the arrows?
It's an arrow pointing upwards and to the right. Yeah.
I'll wait another hour.
Nothing happens.
Okay. I think I know what this means. All right, Mikey. We're going back to Monmouth.
Same spells as yesterday?
Yep.
Okay. You will take off towards Mon Mill. Do you summon your mounts to travel quickly, or no? Okay. You will spend a day practically making it to Mon Mill. That evening will come around as you reach it, unless, let me roll for an encounter just to make sure. It's unlikely. Yep, no encounter on these safe roads. You make it to Mon Mill. You see the Dwarven holds. What do you do at Mon Mill as evening is passing?
I'm going to wait for Stone Teller.
Wait where? Just in the road?
What? I met her before.
Okay. You go to that bar and you take a seat somewhere, and eventually a Dwarven man will come up to you. He's got an apron on. It looks like he's been working all day, maybe at a forge. He goes, Stone Teller wanted me to tell you something.
All right, what do you want me? What is? Tell me.
She says, home is where the heart is, but I'm going to your house tonight.
Oh.
You're like, damn thieves talking in codes, not making any sense. Or maybe it does make sense. I don't know.
I feel like it does. All right, guys. Mikey, we're going home. We're going to Wakeport.
You're going to Wakeport? Okay.
So that's the only home I know. So,
give me an intelligence check. Okay. There are more homes you know of. There's the house that you were just at, the manor house, the mansion. There's the Wakeport, but there's been another house we've talked about this session. Only briefly. But it was mentioned.
oh. Damn, did I miss that?
You've been to her house.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll go check her house first before I go to Wakeport.
I did that a little bit as a safety, as a DM, for saving all of us a lot of time. But secondly, the intelligence check worked, so I wouldn't have done it otherwise. But you head to her house. You see that clearly she doesn't have locks on her doors, but it's little halfling sized. You'd have to crawl in to get inside, essentially, to not bump your head or like crouch super low. Do you enter? Okay, you enter her house, and on the table, you see, probably under a tablecloth, is an egg shape sitting just on the kitchen table in her home.
But she's not here.
She is not here.
This is good. I don't have to pay her.
Sure.
And if she gets caught, I'll just deny it. Awesome.
Okay. You have your egg.
All right. I'm going to store the egg. Right. I'm gonna leave. And I think it's time to head to the Iron Hills.
Are you going to take off in the evening to do this, or are you waiting till morning somewhere? It's up to you.
There's literally no point in waiting. I feel like
You take off towards the hills.
wait, except the day is safer. So I'm just gonna I'm just travel by day.
Okay. You'll wait till the next morning. And you were on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're on day 5. So keep that in mind. And let me just make sure. 2 weeks to tame the hippogriff. So you're not short on time just yet. But you walk into the hills the next day. We can start seeing if you run into a hippogriff. Okay. Mikey follows you in tow. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Give me just 2 seconds here. There we go. Okay. I can get to my little tab here. Where is it? There we go. You're wandering out into the hills. Give me... Never mind. Do not give me anything. You are wandering into the hills, and you hear a screech up in the sky, as you do see a herd of hippogriffs almost immediately flying around the this area right here as you enter the hills. What do you do as you hear the screech and you see one kind of probably positioning its wings to fly towards you? I should describe it probably. It has large eagle-like wings on both sides of it. It has the body of a horse. The back hooves are very clear. It's got a ponytail on its butt. And it's got, on the front part where hooves would maybe be, it's got eagle talons, but they're large, horse-sized.
Is it just one?
Head. It's like 7 of them flying, and they appear to be turning towards you. Yes.
Can they sense the egg? I'm gonna take my mount and I'm gonna run back towards Monmill.
They're gonna outpace you drastically as you see them soar through the sky. They're moving, you just estimate very quickly in your head, probably at like, you don't know, like 180 feet per minute.
Okay. Question: is there a foresty area around here?
No, it's hills, roaming hills that are very clearly visible. There's bushes. Yeah.
This is pretty bad.
What do you do?
I'm going to get as far as I can, and when I see them catching up, I'm going to abandon my mount, hopefully for bait.
You see 2 of them go and will begin to chomp into the mount. Mikey will be running after you, going like, Boss, what are we doing? This ain't safe. And eventually, one will circle in front of you, and then 2 others will circle behind. The remaining, I think it's like 1 or 2, flying in the air. And you'll be surrounded by hippogriffs. You see a large one in front of you. It's got, instead of the usual kind of brownish tint. You're seeing that most of these have like a brownish tint. Instead, it looks like a bald eagle and has a white head and long streaks of white on its under feathers. And you see it rears in front of you and goes, caw, caw, with its large eagle head. What do you do, Elred, as these hippogriffs surround you?
I'm gonna cast armor.
You cast armor. You're able to do it. As you stand there, they begin to trot towards you. All three of them. Mikey's shaking. He's got his spear up. He's like, "Boss, do I stab? What are we doing here?"
At this point, I think we're gonna fight.
As you say you're going to fight, two of the back ones stop, and the front one looks at the egg, just peering at it, and stops in its tracks about 20 feet away from you. Its head goes low. It looks at you. Gives another caw.
I'm going to take out the egg.
Okay.
And I'm going to give it to the big one.
How do you get? Do you just put it on the ground, or do you walk up to it and give it to it?
I walk up to it very slowly, but with like my head down, so I'm not like threatening in any way. Right?
Okay.
Just kind of pass it.
You will walk up to it. You
My
will
arm up.
pass it to the hippogriff. The hippogriff looks at you and gives a caw, and will reach out a taloned claw and grab the egg from your hand. It will look at it, kind of like hold it in front of its face, then put it kind of nestled behind it, and you'll see the other two come around, and you see a smaller brown-headed one grab the egg and kind of fly off into the air. The one with the white mane will look at you and kind of go, caw, 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 caw.
I will slowly approach it.
You slowly approach the hippogriff. Mikey's eyes are wide. He's like, what is happening? It caws and kind of shifts around a little bit, but it's not like running away from you.
I am going to gently pat it.
You begin to stroke its head, and it gives a caw, caw, caw. This bald-eagled hippogriff. You notice how full its feathers are. It looks very healthy and sturdy. It is about 10 feet long. Very long creature. Caws at you. Caw, caw, caw. Shifts its head a little bit.
Motion to see if I could like ride it. Like I'm not on it. I just like
You motion to straddle it? What does that mean? You like lift a leg and go like, you nod your head or something? Like what is the?
Yeah.
It looks at you, cocks its head and goes caw, caw.
All right. I'm actually gonna give it some food out of my pack. All right.
It will hungrily eat the food. What do you give it? What is the?
I know they said they're omnivores, so I'm just gonna give it some meat, some jerky.
Okay. You give it some jerky, and it will devour the jerky. Eat it up. It will caw at you. Caw. Kind of shift its head again.
All right. Then I'm going to attempt to very slowly and carefully mount it.
Give me a charisma check at +10, an extra +10, for your quest that you've done for this thing.
God, I almost failed that.
Yes, but the boost did bring you there. Okay. You put your legs on the hippogriff, and almost immediately it will go caw and lift up its front quarters. You'll have to grab on very tightly to this thing. Let's try and get the right track for this. I'm trying to find the. Give me a second. That's not it. No. Okay, if only I could find the right music. We'll do this. No? Is that not what I thought it was? I thought this was like a happy, like, No, that's like sleigh bells. Sorry. Give me just like 2 seconds. I need to find
No, that's fine. Take your time.
Yeah. It's gotta be like a flying jovial tune. Let me see if I can find a track from Tabletop Audio. Age of Sail? What does this sound like? Probably got water. Yeah, it's got water. Is there like flying? I'm just gonna look at flying. No. Okay, happy air. Let's look up air. Abandoned Fair, steampunk airship. That doesn't work. Okay. I mean, let's just go for this then. We'll just play some of our battle music because it's the only thing I can think of. Or we'll do, what is Windswept? Let's do Windswept Plains. Where's that?
I'm sorry?
Sorry, I'm just talking to myself as I try and find the right music for this.
You can just play Wings of an Angel, right?
In the arms of an angel.
Yeah.
Hopefully this plays. But as you mount the hippogriff, it will soar. Okay, this has spurs. My God. It'll have to do. We'll combine it with Yuletide and make like a... No, Achilles will work. We'll do Achilles. It's the best I can think of. You soar. This sounds victorious. You soar into the air. You begin to circle with the hippogriff. You have to hold on super tightly. It gives a caw. This is probably the first time you've ever flown. You look down below. You see Mikey's super tiny. You see around you is various creatures of the hills. You see off in the distance giants. You see orcs all around as well as you soar through the sky, flying. It flies kind of like in circles and goes caw, caw. What is Elred thinking and doing as he sits on this hippogriff's back, its large white striped wings flapping in the air as you soar?
I am trying to hold on for dear life, right?
You hold on for dear life. You see the creature turn its head to you and go caw, caw.
I kind of point towards. I don't know. Can it fly that far? It would take days, right?
With this, it would take. Let me just do my calculus. Times 1. It would not take days. This thing is fast. It would take you a matter of hours to get to the Mon. This thing can travel 450 miles per day.
Okay, so we'll head there. All right.
Yes. You will soar towards the Mon. Mikey will go, I guess I'll meet you in Wakeport!
Yes! I give him a thumbs up.
he screams down from below, stuck in the hills by himself. Let's just make sure Mikey makes it home okay. Okay, Mikey will probably make it home okay, depending on how things go. Further. But you will soar through the sky. You'll very quickly, in the matter of an hour or so, make it to the edge of the Mon. And the creature goes, caw, caw, as you see the forest like you've never seen it rolling pine trees all around, covering this area. And as you fly towards the hole where the great bear, lives, you will see that hole you're supposed to fly down. Do you give a point?
Yep, I do.
Okay,
I kind of directed.
You point towards Barathiel's hole, the bear hole, and the hippogriff will soar down to it. And as it kind of flaps around this hole, it gives a caw, and you begin to slowly. He flaps his wings as you kind of slide down into this hole. As you begin to get the visage of the great bear, you'll see shock and awe from the kobolds in this this small cavern that you've come into, the large circle with the hole in the center. There's no real platform for the hippogriff to land, so you're just kind of shifting there. The hippogriff cawing as you ride it. Barathiel, the large brown cave bear that sits in his throne, goes, "Oh, you have won our wager, Elred." As you fly on the back of this hippogriff and kind of hovering uncomfortably as it kind of shifts back and forth in the air.
I have, and in less than a week too, right?
Yes. Quite the feat, I do say. I guess I don't get my scroll.
Yeah, and I get your eternal service.
You get me as a sage, and I will remain my bear hole.
Yeah.
What would you ask of me, Elred the Shaper? The bear will scratch its chin with its large claws. The kobolds are still some of them have scattered. Others of them are sitting at the ends of the wall, kind of shaking at the hippogriff.
I need more information on the past people who lived in the area that is now Wakeport.
The people of the past.
Yeah, you're old. You should know this.
I do know. It was elves and men who lived here before. But they were under the whip of another species, a species driven from these lands, named the Sariel. They are dinosaur men of the south.
Do I know what a dinosaur is?
No. They are
what?
Scaled creatures.
Oh, like lizards.
Like lizards, but larger and sometimes heavier. They're like lizard men, if you've ever heard of those.
Okay, so like a dragon.
But somewhat different. The Sariel are long gone, pushed past the Strait of Kindrahada, and now few remain on that jungly terrain below us.
So you're telling me that the men and elves were not to say at least at the very least unwitting allies?
Yes, both together in bondage. They suffered under the yoke of those Sariel. And when the time came to overthrow them, it was with careful deliberation and planning, and a building of the ruins that you find yourself now conquesting yourself for your own purposes. I sat here on my throne watching it all, Elred.
That you did.
For Barathiel, me, the great bear, has been here forever. I've been talking to myself too much in third person with Fester Brown. So I'm doing it for other characters now. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. He didn't.
It's fine. It's fine.
Barathiel will speak up and go, I do have one thing to say to you, Elred, about the future.
What is that?
I have read the bones below in my pit, and they tell me one thing. Would you like to know?
Yes, I would. I'd always like to know.
Only you can prevent wildfires. And I think we're going to call an end to the session there.
Oh, no.
As we leave with that ominous and somewhat culturally relevant saying. That was not just a joke.
Is this a general you, or is this like a you, like me specifically?
He points.
Elred?
The big bear claw points at you as he says it.
Okay.
Okay. Oh. And that'll be the end of our session as Baratheon the bear says that to you. We can do XP now. Alrighty. Let me calculate that. Any final thoughts though as I calculate XP?
I need to figure out a way to make amends with everyone I screwed.
Yes, you did steal from Fester Brown's, but he doesn't know that.
Yeah, but I know he doesn't know that. I still want to pay him back.
True. You're a good person. Just as a note, if you want to write down how much you owe him, a hippogriff egg is generally sold for 1,000 gold pieces.
I do remember that. That I will not forget.
All right. You defeated the dwarf. I need to add that XP.
Oh, and also I need to make sure Stone Teller is alive and well. That too.
Yes, you do. But that'll be next time. All right, I have calculated XP. We're giving you 1,575 for completing the quest and that extra 500. Also, I've counted you defeating at least 2 of the hippogriffs because you helped the mother and you tamed the father. And I gave you XP for the dwarf. So I'll just post that in the chat if you'd like it there. Let me grab it on a copy and paste. There you go, 1,575. I'm gonna end the recording here, folks. I hope you enjoyed. This was a little bit more of a... I like this session a lot. Not a lot of combat, but a lot of role play. I don't know how you felt about it, Teo, but...
No, I was fine with it. It was funny. The court scene, the party was really funny. I liked it.
It's a fun time. A little bit more jovial than fighting the necromancer, but tonal shifts are always, I think, a cool thing in D&D that you can do. But we are going to end. I hope you guys who have stuck around are checking out our content. We have some successful shorts going on YouTube and now TikTok. As much as I don't know much about that app, I have created one. It appears to be decently popular so far with our shorts pulled from these campaigns. So we're going to continue to run those. For your information, Teo, the one short doing okay on TikTok right now is the Rat Swarm, where you talk to the guy about how he was attacked by rats, and he regales you with the terror of being crawled by the little pitter-pattery legs.
That was funny.
Yeah, that is up on the YouTube as well now. We'll see how that does in the coming days. It usually takes a little bit for them to take off, but... So yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Check out our Fighter Thief as well, and join us here next Tuesday. Are you good for that, Teo?
Yeah, I did see the short about the goblin racism. That was also funny.
With our dinosaur Sariel Druid, actually. So that was but he's dead now. So as much as I hate to spoil that, he's no longer with us. We instead are playing a Fighter Thief, which you can catch tomorrow at 5 p.m. guys. So we'll see y'all next time. Thanks for joining us. I gotta go to the dentist and get my jaw fixed, so we'll see you guys later.